Hi, my name is Vivian, and recently I've really been struggling with acne. If you also have acne, you've probably tried to treat it at some point. It all started one morning. I woke up to see I had a horrible acne breakout. It was so embarrassing. Pimples covered my entire face. Thankfully, it was a Saturday, and I didn't have to go to school. Phew. I could just imagine what the snobby girls who hang out at the front of the school doors would say if they saw my face. I went online to look for homemade recipes for curing acne. Sounded like a good idea, right? I found a recipe that seemed legit, and I was pretty much ready to do anything at that point to get rid of my acne. So I put all my faith in this recipe. I mean, the website was pretty popular and the recipe had loads of positive comments. What could go wrong? The recipe called for some food ingredients as well as essential oils and witch hazel. It required egg whites and honey. Luckily, I was staying at my grandma's and she absolutely devours eggs, so I headed to the kitchen to get some. Sure enough, there were eggs in the fridge. There was also a pot of honey on the counter. Jackpot. I mean, I didn't want to go to the shop for the ingredients with my face looking like this, so I was relieved that my grandma had everything I needed. She even had the oils in a little box in her bathroom, and witch hazel too. It was clearly my lucky day. I went back into the kitchen, bringing the oils and witch hazel. My grandma was there and asked me what I was up to. I didn't really feel like explaining, so I just said I'm applying a mask that uses honey and eggs to cure acne. She laughed and said, "What a great idea." I felt so happy to hear this. Then I took out a big plastic mixing bowl and a large spoon. I read the recipe and added all the ingredients. I stirred it until I felt everything was mixed up properly. I then applied the mask to my face. After a few minutes, I started to feel a burning and itching sensation on my face. Maybe it's meant to feel like that? It probably just means that the mixture is working and getting rid of my acne. I mean, what other reason could there be? Even though my face was in pain, I decided to suck it up and I left the mask on for as long as I could handle. It annoyed me that I needed to go to such extreme measures just because I'm unlucky enough to have acne. Why can't I just have flawless skin like my friends Jessica and Amy? Life is so unfair. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. I ran to the sink to wash off the mask. I splashed my face with lots of cold water and scrubbed it with my hands, pulling off globs of the mixture. I then rushed upstairs to get a wet washcloth. When I looked in the mirror, I almost screamed. My face was so red, more so than you could possibly imagine. It was also puffy. I called my grandma and she came running, and when she saw me, she immediately called my parents as she wasn't sure what to do. She wanted to call an ambulance, but I refused. I told her that my mother has a solution for everything, and I'll just wait for her. But my skin was so irritated and painful by then. When my parents arrived, my mother tried to calm my skin down by putting some calming cream on my horrible rash. We waited about 15 minutes. It was seriously getting worse though. My parents drove me to the ER right away. After seeing a nurse and waiting for a while, we were asked to come in. The doctor looked at my face and said it looked as if the rash was caused by a bad allergic reaction. When I told him about my mask, he said that the lemongrass oil and the tea tree oil were the most likely culprits. He also recommended I go to an allergy specialist to get tested because I might have an egg allergy as well. Even though the doctor was able to ease the pain and the rash on my face, I still felt horrible because the blemishes were even worse than they were to begin with. I was so upset, to the point where I couldn't hold my tears back and I started crying like a baby in front of the doctor. Surprisingly, the doctor was not taken aback by my dramatic reaction. He explained that it is a problem that many teenagers like me suffer from at this age. He then told me I should never be embarrassed by it. I laughed even though I was still kind of upset. It was ridiculous to end up in the emergency room over some stupid acne. My grandma felt bad as well for telling me it was a good recipe, but we all tried to convince her it wasn't her fault. The doctor prescribed me some ways to help me control the acne, which he felt was safe. and I reassured him that I wouldn't be taking the matter of my health into my own hands again, that's for sure. Do you have any stories that you'd like to share? Please talk about them in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story, hit the like button. And remember to subscribe so you can see future stories.